So how is everybody's Thanksgiving? What all did you guys do?
Oh, I ate.
Ate, yeah. Ate and napped.
Did
It
the
was all
most
good.
important things. Yeah.
Yeah. All good over
Eat
here.
and
Little weird with the, separation and the social responsibility
Yeah.
of, kind of
Right.
isolating yourselves. But, I think everyone's kind of gotten used to the Zooming and doing some of that digital
Mm-hmm.
communication over the last few months. So it wasn't too bad. It was pretty chill. It's nice, after you do the meal when you get to see everybody, everyone sees you from like the shoulders up because you're just on camera. So
I don't have a
go dressed up.
waist.
Gym shorts are an optional. Yeah.
Oh, you wear shorts to those? I don't wear
Sometimes.
shorts to Zoom calls. I'm not wearing shorts right now. Y'all better pray I don't have to stand up. Like,
Yeah.
just absent-mindedly stand up because it'll be over. This
Yeah.
channel will be done.
You did say you had
100
food in the slow cooker. So if there's a fire
Man,
that brings out, God forbid.
and
Dan's just gonna be hovering over the BRB screen.
just wait for it. If you see me make a sudden movement, you know what's about to happen.
Craig, step in here.
I hope you're faster on the draw than I am, buddy. But no, good Thanksgiving. It was just mostly the same.
Yeah.
Family, food, a lot of food, and then a lot of napping. Because what else is there to do other than eat and sleep?
Yeah.
That's like all year.
It feels like a whole year of post Thanksgiving meal status. It's just there's nothing else you can do but eat and sleep. What about you, Dan?
My Thanksgiving was we just went to my girlfriend's parents' house for Thanksgiving. That was pretty wonderful. My family was having like 16 people over, and I was like, no,
Nope.
I think I'm good. So
We'll avoid that.
yeah, they seemed to be fine a couple days afterward, but yeah, all in all, I got to see them a little bit beforehand, so it was fine. It was good.
Good.
What'd you guys eat? What was on the dinner table for everybody here?
Too much.
Too much
For
is the
Thanksgiving
correct
Day,
answer.
So we actually did a non-traditional thing since everybody was kind of out of it. We did Italian beef.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Yeah, I saw that. It looked real good.
explain.
Italian beef. It's pretty much
Yeah.
just like beer, pepperoni, beef.
Yeah.
It's just not a whole
Chicago
lot
treat.
of thought to it, but yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Did you
Hardest part's
shred it?
finding good rolls. No,
Oh, okay.
you cut it down, put it back
gotcha.
in.
I gotcha. Sorry about that, guys.
It's
Robot
fine.
run away again.
Craig left.
He gets scared. He gets scared sometimes.
We started talk about Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can't eat, so he gets a little bit mad about it. Just decides to leave.
Yeah.
He's on the
What
outside looking in for sure.
Doing the
What
Ned
does the
Flanders
robot do with
outside.
the stream cameras? That's awesome.
Yeah.
The worst things. Only the worst things.
Mhm.
And I love the best part of this is whenever somebody gets kicked from the call, because the way Dan has this set up is he's got different sources for everybody's camera. So he's basically taking a window capture like 4 or 5 times from Discord to set up the way the stream overlay works. So if anybody drops, it gets destroyed. And like the look of despair that falls upon his face. He tries to hide it.
That
God,
look right
this
there.
one. It
it's
is
that
it's
look.
this one. It's
can
it's
really
this
see
one.
the
It's just
light.
like, well, here we
God
go.
bless him. He tries to hide it every week, and he's so professional at it. But rest in peace, buddy.
I try to make something nice.
Can't have that.
Can't have
Definitely
anything
can't have
nice
that.
here. Nope.
Not this year.
Can't. Nope. 2020. You were
Not
looking so
allowed.
promising for so long.
You were looking so promising before you began.
Cutting me out, that's the smart move anyways.
A little insulted. Anyways, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 262 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We're back for a post-Thanksgiving episode to talk to you about everything going on in the Destiny community right now. And I think the name of the game really is Deep Stone Crypt. Of course, we didn't have an episode last week, but we're going to spend some time talking about the world's first raid race, the raid itself, all of our experience, and I think everybody here said they've run it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yep.
Oh, so we're going to be spending probably the entire time talking about the raid experience, what we like about it, what we dislike, and all kinds of other things. Joining us this week, we've actually got two new hosts to this show. Two contributors here at Planet Destiny. You guys know them and love them from the Twitch channel. Zara, Explosion. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep,
Anytime.
thanks.
Having us.
Every time. For those out there who may not be fully acquainted with y'all, starting with Zar, why don't you guys go ahead and take a little bit of time to introduce yourself and tell them what you all about.
Okay. Well, I stream from 4 to 7 on Tuesdays on Planet Destiny. My normal focus on my own channel is charity streaming. Mostly Destiny, a little bit of Warframe, like weird stuff in between. But 9 times out of 10, you'll probably see me in some strange cosplay based on how much charity we've done. So, or eating something incredibly not supposed to be eaten by humans. That god awful gummy bear.
What kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
I ate a 9 million Scoville gummy bear for Extra Life Game Day. It was rough. I didn't like it.
Wouldn't recommend.
What did it
He
taste
would
like?
not recommend. It tasted like what I imagine a shoe would taste like.
Mm.
Only if that shoe was made of lava.
Oh, hot leather.
Yeah.
It was like at
That's-
first it was just an awful plasticky taste, and then after a few moments of chewing on it, it just overwhelming burning death. You just wanted it gone from your mouth. It was awful. But
Why
I do it
would-
again for charity.
Who makes things like this and why?
I don't know. The only why I have is friends that hate you, the office coworker that steals your candy,
Okay.
or charity incentives. Those are the only 3 things I could think of.
Worker who steals your candy.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know, you get a bunch of gummy bears, you just throw one of those in there, and they're done.
That-
you won't hear
Hey,
from them again.
n-
That
Never
and the
again.
sugarless Haribo.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
what those do
If
to your body?
Yeah, if you want to give them like the screaming shits, you give them that on top of that 9 million Scoville gummy
Just
bear.
throw it all in the bucket.
You're just man.
Just let them have it out in their innards there, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got something for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within that bucket of gummies, there's one.
There's
Just
just one. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow.
May not be
but when
tomorrow,
you
but-
find it,
By God, one
Justice.
day.
Sweet justice.
Justice.
it was bad. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, if you're doing it for charity, go for it. But if
Yeah.
you do it, it's not to be trifled with.
Yeah, I this man basically ate one of the nukes that you drop on Taniks. You're not supposed to, those are not for
Pretty
consumption.
much.
I'm pretty sure next to the boxes that you deposit those in, it says not for human consumption.
Not for human
You
consumption.
didn't.
Shanks for the
You must have
memories.
missed that. If only Guardians could read.
I'm a Titan. What's reading?
Yeah. You said it
Read?
before I could. He is a Titan man. He tried to punch me first.
Hey, I played a hunter for the entire day one, which should explain a
did.
lot.
You did?
I'm a team
Oh.
player. We needed a hunter.
So you chalked it up, huh? I salute that. Well done. Max, how about you, man?
Yeah, I've been on Planet Destiny for a few months now. I stream from 5 to 8 Mondays Central Time. A lot of what I do, I kind of came in towards that lull of the season last year where people were trying to wrap up anything that they needed that was getting vaulted. So really, that's kind of become the focus for me, is just helping people out either with raids, any kind of completion, any triumphs that they've been needing to get. So I just try to consider myself a friend of the community and just constantly trying to put myself out there to help whoever meet new people. That's really been the biggest focus. But I'm an expecting father, and she's due like in 10 minutes here. So I pretty much have been all over the place for what I've been doing for content. So I can't really say I have like a set time where I have been streaming. But you can at least say that 5 to 8 on Mondays. Hopefully that'll pick back up in a couple weeks here. But hopefully I'll start getting a little bit more regular.
Right on, brother. And again, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Pretty soon, all that crazy stress is going to become more
Screaming
crazy
baby.
stress
More creepy stuff.
for completely different
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah, manifested into a physical form. Yeah.
Right on, man. That's good stuff. Fantastic stuff. So if he has to run off in the middle of the show,
Yeah.
you'll know
Yeah.
why.
Short
That's why.
episode, guys. Short episode.
Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Of course, we've also got Danfinity, the one and only,
Oh,
here as
hello.
always.
Hi. What's going on?
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you guys
And
too.
I am the Black Link. And with the introductions done, let's go ahead and dive on in to what we've got to talk about this week, which is, of course, the Deep Stone Crypt raid.
Mm-hmm.
The first raid in what, about a year?
Yeah.
We've had
Yep.
Yeah.
Little
First raid
over.
in about
Since
a year.
Garden.
It has been it's been quite some time, and I guess we'll start things out with kind of an overall feeling. Was it worth the wait, everyone?
Yeah.
I thought so. I absolutely thought so. I think it's one of the more unique raid experiences we've had.
Oh,
Yeah.
easily.
I've never done a day one before too. This was the first time I've been able to participate in that. So I mean, it's a little bit hard to kind of gauge, like compare it to anything else, but I
Mhm.
definitely will say it's one of the coolest, if not the coolest Destiny experience I've ever had. So in my opinion, yeah, I think it was absolutely worth it. I think the buildup was definitely worth the hype.
Absolutely, I would agree. I'd say this is you're on point when you say this is one of the most unique raid experiences we've had in Destiny 2. I love it. I think the Deepstone Crypt is great. I've got one clear thus far. Haven't cleared it on any of my other characters, but I cleared it on my Warlock, and I love it. I thought the experience was great. Once I figured out, exactly how operators and scanners and all that kind of stuff worked, I
Mhm.
like the way that Bungie utilized those established roles throughout the raid. Because you have those roles in basically every encounter, all doing something similar to the first encounter, but with different effects. Especially when you get to we'll say Taniks Part 1, where you're kind of thrown into an arena with enemies on all sides, and you're juggling abilities with suppressors and then being deactivated. I thought this was a really strong raid from start to finish. Gear is fantastic. I love the weapons. I love the armor. The aesthetic in it is wonderful. And speaking of aesthetic, you get to go to outer space in it, and that just makes me all kinds of happy.
First
Mhm.
person outer space too.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool stuff from start to finish. Now we've got a couple people here who did the raid on the first day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah,
Yep.
they completed within the 24 hours. Z and Max did.
How did that go?
Uh, it had its moments.
Yeah.
We were one of those people that were stuck on old A-track. Status calamitous
Yeah.
Yeah.
will forever haunt me in my nightmares for a long time. But it was good. I mean, once we figured it out, we worked pretty well as a team. We didn't really have any moments of, outside of general tired irritation. Nobody got mad at each other. So that's really the big, I think, for anybody going into day one, is understanding what you're committing to. It's not
Mhm.
something that you could just
Yeah.
do.
Mhm.
Like you gotta, like, a couple hours. No, you can't expect to LFG it. If you can, God bless you.
Mhm.
But I enjoyed it. Though
Yeah.
killing the boss is the best feeling after 18 hours of
Yeah.
pain and suffering, because you're
Mhm.
just like, I want to go to bed, and then as soon as you hit offline, you're walking out of your house like, well, shit, because you're not tired.
Run it
Yep.
back. Yeah.
So, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was great, and I love the amount of participation I felt the community had, because we haven't
Yeah.
felt that
Absolutely.
since D2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, there was a lot of people playing it. My entire
Oh,
Twitter
yeah.
feed was just people going at it, like just trying their best to get through these encounters. So it was
Yeah.
really enjoyable.
Yeah, you could really feel the community, because I mean we finished at like just under the 18-hour mark, and there were quite a few teams, friends, people that have been on this podcast before too, even that had finished well before us, and there was just so much encouragement and the right amount of backseating, where people weren't just saying go and do this, but they're asking like, what have you guys tried? Is there anything we can do to help? And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it was really just across the board. There was a lot of encouragement, so it felt like the team was kind of, especially towards the end, it was more than just us. Like there was definitely more of an invested chat, I guess, in that sense too. But it really, like that team, I honestly don't think I would have changed anything that we had done differently. I loved who we had. I think we all, like you said, had kind of like our moments of maybe just like being irritated, but everyone kind of also had their one or two moments where it was like their shining moments. We all kind of were able to have those highlights, I guess, and that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely I sort of almost had my breakdown at A-Tracks because I just went through like 3 or 4 cold runs of just like, if you guys want to find someone else in here, please do. And that was really cool though. Everyone was really just like, no, shut up, you're staying in here, you're stuck with us for another 18 hours. So no, I really like the crew. It was fun. It's really it goes so fast. How like it, especially spending 8 hours in that one encounter. I mean, it felt like we were only in there for an hour and an hour and a half, 2 hours. But then you start.
Once we got out, yeah.
You look at the clock,
yeah.
Yeah, it's good. The only feedback, like negative thing that I had about the entire raid is that there's a known bug when it comes to high energy fire, and I don't know if Bungie knew about this bug, but I wish that information was disseminated a little better, because I think it was 15, 16 hours in for us before we got frustrated, because we were doing the same things we saw a lot of other teams doing. We had the same loadouts, we were plenty power levels. Like, we're not the worst players in the world, and we could not get less, like half the boss's health off. I went back and I happened to catch a tweet on Twitter. Just some random person scrolled by saying take off high energy fire. Went and looked. One of our team members had it, took it off, and we finished it 3 runs max?
Yeah, something like that.
So there was definitely something, and still is something going on with that high energy fire. I don't know if people know about that. If you're having difficulty beating the final boss, make sure that you take that off, because there's something conflicting with Divinity. You're doing like 3 million damage and his health is like this. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense. So it's a strange bug. I wish Bungie would have addressed it, but I mean, we do what we can as a community. Maybe they just don't know about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's the big irritation from day one for me, was that figuring that out after that many hours by happenstance, because I wouldn't have figured that out.
Yeah.
I'm not a genius.
So is that a bug that's still going on right now with high energy fire?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
I was running with Connie the other day and we tested it, and the damage numbers were exactly the same on wipe, but the boss's health was incrementally less taken off when he was running high energy fire with Divinity. So I don't know what's going on, if it has to do with the server not seeing the damage correctly. Something funky's going on. So if you're having trouble killing the boss, make sure high energy fire is off on your entire fire team, and I guarantee you'll drop him in a heartbeat. It's really, it's insane.
That's weird, because like I said, I've run it once, and the one time I ran it, I was having so much trouble during the damage phase against Tanix at the very end. And it's not like I didn't have a decent loadout set up for it. I got a first in, last out. That thing is maxed out for damage. It's got Vorpal weapon, and I was just doing garbage amounts of damage, and I could not figure out why. So I got frustrated, decided to swap up my loadout, swapped over to Cloud Strike, took off. I'm thinking about it now. I swapped to a high energy fire build for the run, and swapped off of it when I swapped over to Cloud Strike, and was suddenly dealing like 70,000 damage a shot. So I wonder if that's what it was. I had no idea that this high energy fire thing was a bug.
Yeah, it's a really weird. It's a really weird bug. A lot of people are experiencing it. No, we haven't heard anything confirmed from Bungie, but I've done upwards of 20 runs now, and every time we've taken off high energy fire, it's like a one phase. The boss is just dead. Like, it's
that
no
really
problem.
Frustrates me. I was wondering why my damage was.
It was
if you're having trouble, inward. Take it off. If it's working for you, I mean, leave it alone. Maybe it's not affecting everybody, but for my group so far, almost every group takes off high energy fire. We one phase him. I think like it's nothing.
So I remember I ran on Tuesday, and Cheyenne Gaming, shout out to him, was in chat, and he was like, we were doing damage and just didn't feel like I was doing much. I was like, well, I mean, that's how I feel anyway. But when we were doing damage, I just wasn't chunking off enough. And then I see after stream ended, we ended up killing him. But after stream ended, he was like, hey, did you have high energy fire on? And I was like, I think so. Yeah. And he goes, yeah, don't do that. That's bad. Why would you do that? And so.
Oh, by the way.
So I don't know. But shout out to him for pointing that out to me, at least.
Shout out to you guys for bringing that up, because I had no idea that was a thing. But now that I go back and think about it, that makes
at a minimum, I I hope it's something, if they can't figure it out, I hope they look into it, because I know it's been enough of a babble in the community that they've heard it and say,
Right.
hey, maybe this is an issue, so that people do start taking it off. Because there's
Mhm.
been a few groups I've run with. I have a tendency to go into LFG and just kind of like grab people at random because I get bored.
Yeah.
And you'll hit those teams that are resistant to change, and they will argue with you
Yeah.
tooth and nail about it because it's
Yeah.
not confirmed. And you're like, you're making this so hard.
Just listen.
I'm trying to help.
Just
you.
listen to me.
Please let me help you.
Yeah, so there you go.
So-
Dr. Z's PSA. If you're experiencing damage trouble in the bedroom, take off high energy fire. See what happens.
You just do less damage. You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
With
Yeah.
a simple treatment of Zeralius.
Take one a day. If you experience heightened damage for over 4 hours,
Irritation.
it's working. No, see, this is perfect. This is
Oh,
beautiful
man.
because now the next time I run it, I'll know not to have high energy fire on, which is fine with me. I love Warmind cells. I've been running Warmind cells as my main build literally since Beyond Light came out. This is just more reason to use Warmind cells and ignore high energy fire
Yeah.
and
There you
charge
go.
with light for everything that isn't Lucent Blade.
So
It's good to know.
I gotta remember what it's called. It's the one that nobody runs. I think it's the finisher one. I've been running that instead. It's really funny just because when you do get a charge with light, an enemy hits you and then it creates an arc pulse and kills
Mhm.
them. It's kind of like having
Yeah.
ACDOs. I've just been running that instead.
Mhm.
Yeah, is it the reactive one? Reactive pulse, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
whichever one
having
it is.
it's like having intrinsic ACDs. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's reactive pulse.
That's awesome.
All right,
Yeah,
Dan,
that's
what
the
about
one
you?
I've been
How was your
running.
experience in the raid?
Day one, day one, my team, we got stuck on the first encounter like for hours because we weren't. I wasn't doing something right, and it was purely I was running down there as soon as possible with the operator, and the timer I just kept getting burnt up down there until we like started swapping it out, and it was. Yeah, that was a long haul, and then by the time we got done with that, we were a few hours in, and then a couple of us started getting sleepy. So it was like, you know what, day one emblems not everything. I'll sleep well tonight, knowing that I jumped in on day one, but
Right.
something still bugs me. There's like something in the back of my cold little heart that's like, next time you do this for real.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So
I believe in you.
I had a lot of fun. A couple of the like discoveries. So it was really cool seeing before the second encounter the veil
Yeah.
structure.
Yeah.
That was one of my big hype moments. I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool. And so like that was fun. I also found out, so I was running today. I was the suppressor for the team.
Nice.
Yeah, and so how I've been running it is like you shoot Anarchy at Tanix, and then you run between the 3 points, thinking that you had to be on top of the points in order to get that stun. And I'm running right to left in that
Yeah.
arena. So I start at the right, I hit him with Anarchy, I run bonk, bonk, and then I don't make the jump for the third point on the left-hand side, but my head hits the grate where that circle is,
Mm-hmm.
and it counted. And it consistently counts as a stagger point. So as long
Okay.
you just need to like just jump up and kind of like bink it with your
Touch it.
head, or you can hit
Make
it with your
physical
shoulder.
contact.
It's hilarious. Because I was like, I found something cool. It was pretty fun. But yeah, it was all in all, I had a really good experience with it. My team was a lot of fun to play with. I have 4 clears now. So
Nice.
I think I ran it like I'm trying to learn it so that I can Sherpa people through. And today was kind of like the first Sherpa run. It went a little longer than maybe I had intended, but you know, still learning the mechanics and still trying to figure out my wording of how to get things done. So I like it. I think it's I think it's one of the best raids. It might be the second best raid in Destiny 2, and probably in the top like 3 for me
Yeah.
in overall Destiny. So really
I put
awesome.
it behind King's Fall for enjoyment factor for me, because it's really easy to Sherpa. There's a little bit of mechanic to it.
Mhm.
Everybody has to participate. Like, you can't just kind of go in a corner, just throw a
Right.
new guy in the back. Everybody has a job, and you have to do something, which I enjoy raids like that,
Yeah.
where you have to do something in order to achieve it.
But
So
action
people
wise,
feel like they're doing stuff.
it reminds me of Wrath. It just a lot of like kinetic sprinting, like
Yeah.
you're running around a lot, and I like it a lot.
It's fun.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think it's a good experience overall. Probably my second favorite raid in D2, I'd
Mhm.
say, after
Yeah.
after Last Wish, and like that's after running it once. It might go on to become my favorite raid. I enjoyed the run that I did thus far, and I'm looking forward to getting in more in the coming days as I try to get my hands on that rocket launcher and the rest of the armor sets there. But so I'm trying to think of all the different reasons why I like this raid, and there are so many. But one of the things that I love the most is the lore. The lore
Mhm.
within the Deep Stone Crypt. Of course, there's lore drops that you can go and pick up. There's a couple of those. But some of the exposition drops and the set pieces that happen after you beat Atrax is a section of the raid that I did not see coming, but absolutely loved. You get to go on a spacewalk, basically around the outside of the space station as you're making your way up into the room where Taniks can be found. That's got to be one of my favorite raid segments in Destiny history. You're basically just outside. They turn the music up to max. You're getting these beautiful set pieces and skyboxes while lore is being dumped on you, and you're making your way towards the end of the raid. I thought that was just a beautiful way to transition from the second boss fight into the third encounter. And shoot, even with the third encounter, going into the nuke phase and then crashing back into the planet.
Mhm.
It's a cool raid. Thematically, it's a really cool raid from start to finish. And I think Bungie just overall knocked this thing out of the park. So you guys have all run this multiple times. I've only done it once.
Yep.
Obviously, as these raids go forward, different strategies kind of make their way to the forefront, of the best, most optimized way to get these encounters done. What is your strategy for Atrax and then for Taniks? Because I noticed when I was with a group, we tried a couple different things before we wound up settling on something. So I want to hear what the more experienced raiders have to say.
It's been 50-50 split for us, depending on how you do it. The first most important thing for Atrax that a lot of newer teams haven't picked up on, or they just don't know yet, is your damage phase will start as soon as you kill the last servitor.
Mhm.
And there's
Yes.
another interesting bug that happens where the bottom servitors or the top servitors will spawn too fast. And if you kill them too quickly, the other servitors will spawn in the middle of a damage phase because the game recognizes that there are no servitors on the field. So what we've been doing to mitigate that is everybody on the top will kill the middle one, because I hate that bastard, and the right one.
That's right.
Yeah, the middle one always comes out from the bottom door on the left side. So you just hang out there, wait for him, and sword him, because screw that guy. And then whoever's downstairs, call out when they have their servitors, and you do a check to make sure everybody's servitors are out. I always leave the top left one out. Some teams like the top right. It doesn't really matter. But don't kill that top servitor until you're ready. You have your scanner, you have your operator. The operator sent down the pods, like everything's set up, and you're ready to start deeps. Because there's nothing worse than like everybody smashes all the servitors, and then, oh my god, extinction started. Which one is it? Which one is it? Which one is it?
Yeah.
And you're not set up, and you only get a couple guys in there to hit with the sword. The other thing is with the sword, if you're the operator, you want to swing twice, do a heavy, and back off right away, so that you don't pick up the thing. And
I ran into that today.
For consistency, it's two swings and then a heavy and then back out right away. It's really an easy raid. And 3-2-1, like your operator's in charge of your doors, obviously.
Mhm.
But the biggest change, like the one thing I try to tell teams that'll help them a lot, save that top left servitor until you confirm all the downstairs servitors are dead, and then kill it. Because that's when you get to control upstairs. When the damage phase starts, you're ready, you're in position, all three members are together. So, and that's helped me a lot, like get that 1-2 phase down.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's the strategy that that the Sherpa who was taking me through basically drilled into our heads before we started. Like, hey, these servitors are gonna spawn. Don't go Hambo Rambo and wipe them all at once. Wait, because you've got plenty of time in that encounter to get things set up the right way. So yeah, I see what you mean with that.
And then I don't know if Mex, you have anything for that encounter? Like,
no, my strat is just listen to whatever Z yells at me because he carries me through absolutely everything.
he's a
I like
liar.
that strat.
It's I mean, honestly, like just from like once you get everybody that has experienced a little bit, I really like just very loosely assigning roles because so much of it you can do on the fly.
Yeah.
It kind of I mean it's unnecessary drama, but it kind of creates a little bit of theatrics and I don't know, just the dynamics of everybody kind of having to think on the fly it makes it a little bit more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for the final boss phase, there's a couple tips that I've had for people that do, like, forget the scanner. 4 dunk is the far superior method.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You get an extra damage phase. You don't have to read anything. Like, 4 dunk is it. Like, I've given up even on my Sherpa runs trying to show people how the scanner works. If they're that
So
interested in
explain
the mechanic.
Explain what 4-duck is.
Okay, so anybody who's been to the boss phase, he has 4 little wheels on his floaty shank wheelchair,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to pop all of his little legs, and they will drop bombs, which you then have to pick up and carry. Now, the normal strat, the way it was designed to be done, as far as I understand, is you only pop 2.
Yeah.
And then you take those 2 to the ones that glow, and the scanner tells you which of the 2, and you dunk it. Then you wait, he goes to another spot, you do it again. Because when you dunk 4 total bombs, that's what starts damage phase.
Yeah.
So the problem with doing the traditional strat is, 1, you don't get an extra damage phase. You only get the 2.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, you actually have to worry about where the scanner's going, which increases the chance of you dying, getting back into position to shoot his other legs off. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that go really like awry. Whereas if you're whoever your stun or your suppressor or whatever you want to call it is hauls to the side that he's going to, it gets behind him and starts shooting those back legs so that everybody else could get into position.
Mm-hmm.
Life is so much easier. And then with the 4 balls, when they come out, they always go to the 4 canisters that he's not at.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no thinking.
Yeah.
The scanner doesn't have to yell anything. The only people that have to worry about anything are the stun, which I'll get to in a second, and the operator, which have to shoot the soccer ball that freezes you.
Mm-hmm.
With the stunner, if you're ever a stunner, it's super, 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 super important to pay attention to the little pulse wave that comes off of him. So 1 happens almost immediately when you go to stun, and that'll freeze somebody at the soccer ball, which, you know, the operator has to take off. Now, you do not want to hit that 3rd stun before that 2nd pulse goes off. You want to ensure that your operator's gotten the 2nd one taken care of before, because the second you stun, it deactivates an augment. So you have a 1 in 3 chance of wiping your fire team if you stun too quickly. Because if it takes away the operator, they can't unfreeze and the person can't run. And if you go try to grab the ball from them, you're stuck in there too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's super important as the stun to make sure you see that 2nd soccer ball before you stun. So those are like the big changes. Other than that, I mean, you kind of really need divinity, but you don't.
Yeah.
Because you can. We've memed on them. We've done everything you could think of at this point, and it's fun raid. I enjoy that it's loose. Like, you don't even need a super in this raid. Like, you can run this whole raid without supers, and it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't use a super until we got to Taniks Part 1 when the overload captains started popping.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a good opportunity to use a super. I realized I hadn't used it once until that point. You're absolutely right. You don't even really need a super for this. It's more about gunplay and just knowing your role.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4 bomb strat was one thing we didn't try. I'm looking forward to doing that next because it seems like it's so much better.
It is.
It reminds me.
It's so much easier. It's easier to think about, and you get that extra damage phase because, you know, normally you go in, he knocks you out, you go back and he knocks you out, and you're done. If you get the 4 ball, you get a 3rd damage phase, which is like huge.
Yeah.
Guarantees his death if you're using the right stuff. And it's so funny because it's like when challenge mode happened in King's Fall. And it was like, all right, we got to detonate all 4 of these bombs basically simultaneously. And then everybody was like, oh, this is way easier.
Yeah.
You skip that whole damage phase. Like, why weren't we doing this before?
This is exactly how we should always do this. And I love that that's the way that things are going with Taniks Part 2 now. That's the way I'm going to be doing it the next time I run the raid. It's good stuff.
Cloud Strike, huh?
I definitely won't go back.
You won't go back.
Yeah. It will be interesting though. With I mean, it's kind of been the topic of conversation is how much easier it got if down the road if they do introduce the contest modifier back into it, or if they even just a patch to make the DPS a little bit more lengthy. I wouldn't be surprised if they do try to make something a little bit more so that it's less memeable. But for the time being, it is really you can play as comfortably as you want to with it, and I think that's one thing that we've kind of missed in raids.
Do you see them?
Yeah,
really all D2.
Do you see them doing that though? Because like, honestly, that feels like it is the challenge strat, right? That way, like
that has to be the challenge strat before dunk.
The way that it rewards you with an extra damage phase, they're like, that can't be a glitch, right? Like that has to be intended.
Yeah, most challenges are better, faster, harder, right? Like most challenges reward you for doing something differently. So I'm not sure what the better, faster, harder is for the second challenge, because killing all the servitors at once kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Because you kill them all and then your entire team's spread out across the map and you're in like a panic to find the right one.
Get to work.
But it's not too bad. The third one, that's the other thing we've kind of figured out. We're pretty sure the third challenge, the reason why it's locked out, why it's hidden, is we're pretty sure it's bugged. I've spent north of 6 hours in that encounter trying every possible strat that you can imagine. We've managed to get 4 balls at the same time. We've dunked 4 balls pretty much damn near on top of that 10-second line, and nothing has happened for us. So we're missing something. We don't have something as a community. Like, people out there that are killing yourselves, keep going if you want to. But if you figure it out, please let me know. But other than that, we're pretty sure it's bugged. There's been a lot of us trying, and we cannot figure it out. So that hidden one that's on the seal.
Here's hoping they get those rolled out sooner rather than later. So you guys brought up something interesting there, and that was the notion of this raid certainly is much easier outside of contest mode. It's a lot more of a chill experience to go through.
It's forgiving.
It is. It's very forgiving. Like you can, I can attest. You can screw up a bit and still get things done within within this raid. But the notion of contest mode, and I love the challenge of it. I love that Bungie introduced this a couple raids back for the world's first race to kind of put everybody on a level playing field with a guaranteed amount of difficulty with the delta scaling. And something we've talked about here on this show is the notion of bringing challenge mode, or contest mode rather, in, but kind of treating it like hard mode used to be for raids back in Destiny 1. Something you can toggle so that you can have that day one experience really whenever you want. Just a difficulty mode that shuts off your artifact power and caps you at 1230 light. And I think we even mentioned on the show, like, why not bring that in as a toggleable difficulty and just add in an extra raid drop for running it that way? So that rather than getting 1 drop in every encounter, you get 2. How would you guys feel about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, go ahead. Sorry,
go ahead. No, you were in the middle. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I didn't really get to experience that much in D1, but that was one thing I was always really fascinated with, was even just having like an ornament isn't too gatekeepy, having something like that in there if you wanted to add to the raid armor a little bit, if you wanted to even take that extra step. But it's a little bit more than just mundanely running through this and just nuking everything. I think it'd be great, especially just having it as the option, like you mentioned, because then you don't need to sweat it out every single time you're in there too. You just have the challenge as an option. So I think so. My only concern was if it does get too gatekeepy, if they put like one main imagine if 1K was behind challenge mode, like that would probably be a little bit. There's definitely a gray area. They kind of have to find the middle ground, but I think it's definitely doable to keep everybody happy.
I'm of the mind that there are some things that got taken out before Beyond Light, such as the catalyst for certain exotic weapons, that could go behind a harder difficulty or a contest mode if they were to do a toggle. Also, if it gave you the ability, we haven't talked about like one of the coolest things in this raid, and that's the chest at the end. With the spoils of war or the spoils of conquest. Like if it gave you extra spoils for running it as a contest modifier, and like the chest at the end, for those who don't know, has the ability, you can purchase new rolls of weapons and armor that you have had previously drop. The guns are per account, but the armor is per character, and it has like weapons caches up along the top for you to purchase as well. I think that locks it out to a certain degree. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. The caches also are kind of buggy.
Okay.
It's a known. It's a dice roll. I've seen people get it both ways. They got stuff that they haven't gotten before, and I've also seen like a shotgun wasn't listed and they got a shotgun. So it's a use at your own risk right now. I mean, we're only 1 week in, so I'm not that pressed to give the dice roll yet.
Yeah.
So I've just been re-rolling for perfect shotgun or a sniper.
Yeah. But that's the cool thing is even if you beat it, every chest, like today I ran on my Titan for the second time, and out of every chest I got 5 spoils, right?
Yep.
And so that's at least enough to purchase another roll on something. And it's rewarding to those who keep running it over and over and over again. I think that reward system is phenomenal and something that
it's a nice change.
Yeah, something that we've needed in the raids at least for a while. I think Last Wish was kind of like close to it, like with just like choose whatever chest you if you dare, like
choose your fate.
Exactly. So like they did that. Garden, like it spits out whatever at you, but this is really to me an evolution of what the Menagerie it was in the game. So it's I really enjoyed it.
I like spoils because I tend to guide Sherpa, whatever you want to call it, people a lot. And it gives me a bonus on top of, the joy of helping somebody, which is the real treasure to do it. Because, I mean, even if I don't need the spoils, I can reroll an armor set. Maybe I just get something else, or I just hang on to it. Maybe another raid will use it. Back to the contest thing. I want them to do that, but not immediately. I never want them to do that like raid drop hard mode. I never want to see that where contest mode is enabled the day a raid drops, which I know a lot of people would want to see that and they want to experience that, but that's something I think they need to turn on 6 weeks later, 8 weeks later, 2 months later, and really wait, because sure, for a lot of us experienced players, the top half of the community, this is a joke, this is easy. But if you go on Twitter, you go on LFG sites, there's a lot of Guardians that'll get left behind if you add hard mode, because nobody wants to help them. Nobody wants to do non-hard mode. Nobody wants to do those things. And I saw that a lot with Prestige, right? Like you go try to find a normal Leviathan at the end of the last season. Good luck. Like unless you had friends, a pool of people that you could draw from, it would never happen for a new Guardian coming in as a new lighter to come in a week after raid drops and everybody's doing hard mode. I can't do that. I can't help you. Sorry. Because nobody wants to do lower tiered content. Like when was the last time you LFG'd for a 1050 Nightfall? I mean, that's my only fear, is that if they drop it too fast, then we're going to leave a lot more people behind. And I feel like there's already enough people that don't get to experience great parts of content like raids. So if they do it, please wait.
Even just from looking at the content and keeping it fresh too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that way you're drawing it out a little bit longer.
Yeah.
When we start hitting like that last month and there's nothing to do, boom, here's a great little finale for the last month of.
Yeah. And give us ornaments. Give us stuff like, I loved going in the tower and seeing glowy worm laden bastards everywhere. That was like my favorite thing in Destiny 1, because you knew like you saw that person, you messaged them like, can you give me a hand? Do you know how to do this? You knew they knew how to do it. Yeah. They look like a worm god. Of course they ran that raid. So I do miss that about D1. I hope they bring that to D2. I just hope they pace it correctly. I'm not a fan of drip fed content either, so I hope that's not misconstrued as a drip fed thing. It's just give the raid time to be understood by enough of the community before you hand us another more complicated thing. And it's great for us that are really good at it. Go out and help somebody. Find somebody that needs that help and show them how to do it. And I mean, I love memeing on all these bosses. It's hysterical, but I'm also finding a lot of Guardians out there that are like, oh, I'm only a 1220, so nobody will raid with me. Well, let's go. Let's go. We're going right now. So
No, I think
if you're really that bored, challenge yourself. Go out and find people that need the help and help them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think that's there's not much more I could add to that. I think you're 100% right. If they do bring that sort of dynamic like we had back in Destiny 1 back, where there's a normal version and maybe a contest or a challenge or a hard mode version of the raid. Yeah, push that out later. Let people get acquainted with the normal version of the raid, get their rewards, and then get their you can drop hard mode later on. I think that's a good business decision, and it's great for the it's a great content feed for the community. Absolutely.
Do I have the same mindset for Trials Flawless? I'm not a PvP player. I am a person that struggles at PvP. I have a lot of friends that are good at PvP, and yeah, I do have that same mindset. Like, if you think it's easy, go find people that need help and help them. Because I've gone flawless a few times, and it's not because I'm good at it. It's because I lean on a few of my other friends, like Connie and King Allen and other streamers, and let them shine in their realm. Whereas they know I'm a raider. If they need a body, they're calling on me. So we trade off our skill sets a little bit. And maybe if you struggle with PvP, but you're amazing at PvE, find some PvP gods that want sweet loot and say, dude, hook me up with some trials runs and I'll hook you up with some raids.
Yeah.
So it's a give and take. Trials' PvP is its own monster. It's a very difficult conversation to have because PvP needs to exist to keep the game alive when we have content droughts. If there's no PvP, this game absolutely dies every time there's no content.
No argument there.
I'm not a fan of PvP. There's pieces of PvP community I absolutely adore. We all know about the other parts, but PvE, we have the same problem, so we can't pretend we don't.
Yeah.
And I think we just need to get better at, like, loot's there. It's something we can earn. We're not entitled to it. If we could get it, great. And just give feedback to Bungie. If you run into a huge wall that you see 1% of the community is the only ones that can do it, talk to Bungie. They are listening. I've seen changes. I've seen things. Look at the way they changed comp. A few seasons ago, before comp was put into solo mode, no way in hell I would have an unbroken title right now.
No.
So, I don't know.
I think you're absolutely right. I think different beast, but it's a give and take, I know plenty of people who do nothing but PvP and jump to me when they're ready to run a Nightfall or something. And I know plenty of people who are just the opposite, who are nonstop PvE and are like, all right, sweats carry me.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Yeah,
that's what I do. I pray to the sweat gods, like, please, I love you. Ooh.
Speaking of, we'd be remiss of us if we didn't mention Trials canceled this weekend again. Because Stasis is just too gosh darn powerful for.
Oh boy, I heard there was a glitch that got you off the map and made Titans invisible or something.
Made them invisible from the radar. Yeah.
Yep, Behemoth invisible Titans. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I don't think Trials is the problem. Trials wasn't the problem. Titans were the problem.
I agree.
Let the record show.
As a 2-season Titan main, I agree full-heartedly. They should be deleted from the game. Thank you very much.
As a 2-season Titan main? Shut up, Warlock.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's got books hidden behind that green screen. Don't let him lie to you.
No.
Yeah. How insulted are you right now, Dan?
Look, I'm a hunter main, dude. I'm
very
insulted
upset. Are you right now?
I'm very upset. I got called a warlock by Z. I'm not even sure we're friends anymore. I don't know why we did this. It was a pleasure to have you, Z. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You're breaking up. I can't.
Thank you for your insight. And he's gone. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh no, my bad internet. How did that happen? There's a hurricane in Florida.
But no Trials until Bungie gets that fixed. The good news there is they have been lightning fast when it comes to pushing out these patches and updates. So I don't expect that to take too long. Although it is a bit of a bummer. A lot of people were looking forward to grinding for those adept weapons, which were set to go live with Trials this week. But
delete stasis.
Does it feel like
just delete stasis?
Yeah,
right.
Delete stasis.
GG easy.
Just disable it for PvP. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't cry. No tears would be shed from me if I could go back to being a Thunder Crash Titan, because every time I turn a corner, it got this bad. I had my daughter make me an emote. It was that bad.
Fantastic. It's great when you just load into a Crucible map and faintly off in the distance you can just hear Let It Go playing, and it's like, oh god, here we go again. Shit. Here
I
we
will
go again.
I will say, pointing to something that you just brought up, TBL, they have been quicker about dealing with
Yeah.
issues, especially
Yeah.
when it came to like. Remember how 2 weeks ago I was just like, beef frozen is too long. Now it's
Yep.
not.
No, it's not.
They did. I feel like they hit that kind of sweet spot on it, where it's like, it's just enough difficulty to get out, but also like there's some fun stuff in there. Also, the loot pool refresh that they were like, we
Yes.
hear you about all the sunset weapons that you did not want to see go. So here's the thing: since all these mods are creating Warmind orbs, have at it. Just have fun. We're just gonna flood the market with them. Every time you get an activity, just do it. Have fun. And I've really enjoyed
I'm a little sad. A little sad that they
Okay.
bring back the moon weapons. I don't feel like the moon weapons ever had a chance to
No.
shine. And
Yeah.
they just kind of like,
Tranquility.
oh
Was
yeah,
my baby.
Shadowkeep was a thing.
Pull it
Yeah.
out.
What's Shadowkeep?
Yeah, there's no reason for the Shadowkeep base weapons and armor to be sunset right now. I still
I
think
miss
that's one of the dumbest
Tranquility
things.
so much.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that. And I mean, they're garbage. But even the Season of Undying stuff to be sunset right now, I think that's still a mistake.
Yeah.
But I will say, adding back in the Season 10 and Season 11 stuff was a good move.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
absolutely what they should have done, and it brought back quite a few really good weapons.
Yeah.
You know, the Seventh
Aikilos?
Seraph stuff.
Yeah,
Aikilos is
Aikilos.
back.
Ooh.
The Seventh Seraph officer revolver is back. The auto
Mhm.
rifle, all that kind of good
Mhm.
stuff, and some of those slug shotties that everybody's using on Taniks right now, like
Yeah.
first in, last out, added back in. Happy about that.
Can we
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the raid weapons too, and how
Yes.
fucking cool they are?
Good.
Oh, every one of
So
them.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reconstruction is the greatest perk that ever came back into this
Holy
game, and you
moly.
can't change my
Yeah.
mind.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Auto loading is my favorite perk of all time, and they made auto loading with overflow. Like, why would you make me so happy? I don't understand.
Okay,
Mhm.
you look like you could use an LMG with over 100 rounds in the mag. Here.
Oh,
Here.
and
By the way, it's a
it does not
hammerhead
move.
archetype.
Oh, so you're
Yeah.
speaking my language. Yes. It
Yeah.
is also void.
Talk to me.
Yes, I enjoy this. I enjoy this very much. Hats off
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like those
It-
raid
it-
weapons.
It's
lot.
kind of like thinking about that too, is seeing like how accessible this raid has been, and with the PvP community, they can't catch a break the last couple weekends with what they've had going on.
No.
But because of that, silver lining, they've been forced to do raids more to fulfill content, and they've been able to play with these weapons a lot more. And I've been seeing like the scout rifle. Who would have thought that the scout rifle would have been?
It is
the
so
best
good.
weapons right now. And you're seeing so many videos because I mean that's just again silver lining. People are getting more exposure to it, and like honestly, that's probably one of the worst weapons from the raid itself. And it's intrinsically a very very well put together weapon.
That's how you know
So
you have a
yeah.
good set of weapons, though. Like your worst weapon is
Absolutely.
still good. I mean, we're not talking about the sword because it doesn't exist, but
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
the other weapons.
yeah.
I got the commemoration LMG with reconstruction and dragonfly. I haven't been able to use it
Ooh.
yet, but I'm like I'm shaking like a little child just thinking about like
Spicy.
what I can do with that thing. It's gonna be
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
There's good
Yeah.
stuff there. And I love the hand cannon too, or posterity. That thing is
Posterity's a good one.
fantastic. And man, they knocked it out of the park with the aesthetic and the new raid perks.
Mhm.
This is how you get me to stop using my older weapons. This is how you get me to stop using my stuff like the bad news and all those other guns that they wanted to sunset. You give me new stuff with new perks that are worthwhile. I love posterity. It's a fantastic gun. When I use an energy hand cannon, oftentimes I'm using something like Nation of Beasts and whatnot. This posterity dragged me right off of Nation of Beasts. It is
It feels
such
good
a
to
fun
shoot.
killing hand cannon. Yeah, it's great. I love it, and that's really the case with a lot of the raid weapons. You mentioned the raid scout rifle, and I think it's a one of the Vice type scout rifles.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
full
it's a
auto.
G60.
It's full auto. Remember that it's full auto. Please, for the love of
Yes.
God, remember that it's full auto.
And wanted to say that thing. I love that that's been making the rounds and just showing what a powerful weapon it is in PvP, because it's bringing attention to something that I've been saying about Crucible for quite a long time. Those
rifles.
Vice Scout rifles are nasty, and nobody pays attention to them because their stats were awful. But now we've got one with decent stats, and it's just destroying everything in sight. Makes me happy to look at.
It's a really good. Yeah, that's how you fix an archetype that's bad. Is bring
Yeah.
a better version. And you don't have to nerf or buff everything to death. You just give us a better version of it.
Give us something.
I've got
better.
one with Killing Wind and Wellspring, and I've been destroying everything with it. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I'm
a
not
good-
going to turn
good
this into
weapon.
I'm not going to turn this into a talk about sunsetting and all that kind of stuff. But like, you want me to stop using my favorite hand cannon in the game is still Ostringer. I
Yeah.
love that thing.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
drop from Menagerie.
Rip.
I love it. I rest in peace. And I hope someday Bungie puts in another way to kind of to get an updated version of Ostringer, because it's just an amazing hand cannon. But you want me to stop using it? Introduce something like Posterity. Introduce something like the what is the shotgun from the raid? What's the name of that thing? I've seen a couple
Heritage.
rules for that.
Heritage.
Heritage. Give me one of
Yeah.
those. I'll happily put down the Ostringer and play with the new stuff with the shiny new perks that give me double magazine capacity with auto-loading holster. It's dumb. It's incredible. And they did such a good job. Such a good job with the raid gear. The raid weapons
Yeah.
and the armor, because the armor looks
And the
fantastic
armor.
too.
The armor is
Yeah.
slick. Just
Yeah.
slick.
It's very unique. Just across the board, I don't think we've seen any kind of aesthetic like it in Destiny, and I think it's so well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
You know, it's funny. Go ahead.
No, we kind of do have some of that same aesthetic with the prophecy. If you look at
Yeah.
some of like the base of how the prophecy
Yeah.
prophecy armor looked, I know it was like super anime, Fortnite-y, whatever, but like the color aesthetic to it was unique, and then kind of that is shadowed in this raid as well with the aesthetic for the armor. I don't know. I that was just something that I kind of put 2 and 2 together on as we
Yeah.
were getting stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. I guess I haven't really looked at it just at the base as much, but no, there's definitely like a lot of the same contour, not same contours, but kind of the same approach with some of the contours and edges, little things like that, those details. But it definitely, like, they added some of the little like hieroglyphic effects to it too, where it feels like it feels like raid armor. It feels like you
Mhm.
have to do something really cool to get this armor.
Absolutely.
It matches the theme, and
Yeah.
it's definitely gear that's worth your time to go in there and get. When the update for Beyond Light went live, one of the first things I did was go into collections, and because you can just go in there and look at raid gear for some reason, I went in there and looked
Yeah.
at the raid gear and was immediately like, I need this Warlock chest piece.
Mhm.
It's one of the
Yep.
coolest looking things in the game, and it's nice to have that kind of feeling back here in Destiny 2. So we're talking a bit about the raid weapons. Before we move on from that, anybody here gotten the exotic to drop?
Negative.
Why do you wound me? You must follow me on Twitter.
Rest in peace.
No.
I watched Cool Guy get one, and
Yep.
then 2 days ago, yesterday, doesn't matter. I ran a kid through his second raid ever in all of Destiny.
That's how it works.
Of
Like,
course.
the second time he's ever run a raid. And he's like, "Oh, I got an exotic," and I'm just like head on table.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
Like, RNG.
If the kid is under 18, you can almost guarantee that if they have less than 5 runs at a raid, they're going to get that exotic that you've always wanted. And you're going to cry.
Yeah.
You're going to cry a lot.
Second run ever on a raid. He's just like, "Oh, cool." I mean, I'm happy for them. I love it when stuff like that happens, because then you got somebody hooked, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this easy to get exotics all the time. No, it's not.
Oh boy.
I am living.
absolutely.
Look at all these
Yeah.
eyes. I can't carry them all.
I feel like
Yeah.
Gallahorn all over again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's appropriate given what Eyes of Tomorrow's ability is. 'Cause I'm assuming everybody here has watched some of the videos of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ah. Oh boy, what a ridiculous weapon that thing is.
Now a PvE Lord and Gambit.
Yeah.
It so how it looks a little bit like Wardcliff Coil had a baby with Yellerhorn. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
much,
pretty much it. It sounds cool. And
It'd
you're
be
like,
nice
what
to
is
have.
that? Oh god, I'm dead. Yep.
It's Wardcliff Coil, but if the multi rockets from Wardcliff Coil were smart,
And we're Wolfpack rounds.
and we're
It's the
Wolfpack
worst
rounds,
feeling in
yeah.
PvP I could tell you right now is hearing that tuk, 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 and you're like, oh my god.
Here it
There's
comes.
nothing you can do.
This is it. Yeah. You just know.
Yeah, so I was watching Error, a great dude, doing his usual thing of erasing every strike boss in existence with it, and it looks like it's a pretty dumb exotic, pretty silly exotic. Aztecross made a video on it too. That was pretty good. That guy was losing his mind over the power of this, and I think that's a good feeling. We've had some pretty good raid exotics here in D2. One of my favorite in Destiny 2 is of course Divinity. I think it's one of the most unique weapons that Bungie's put out there. A lot of fun, but it's not particularly known for being a massive monster of damage on its own. It's been a while since we've gotten an exotic from the raid that's specifically like that. So I'm glad that Eyes of Tomorrow is really, really strong, although it does seem to be a little bit glitched right now. Well, maybe it's not glitched. It's dealing like less damage against specific bosses. Like I think Nightfall bosses take specifically less damage from it right now, which might have been Bungie doing something to keep you from taking it into raids and nightfalls and whatnot and just instantly erasing everything. But everything outside of that gets shredded by it, and that makes me happy. It's definitely an exotic I'm looking forward to getting my hands on. However long that winds up taking.
Oh, it's gonna be 40 runs. I'm gonna let's mark it here. Episode 262. I said it would take TBL 40 runs to get it.
You
I
might
don't
not
wish
be
that
wrong.
on you.
I don't know. You kind of just put it
Kinda
out there.
Kind of
man.
did just put it on
kind of
you.
Yeah,
been
you
lied.
kind of just put that on.
Kind of
him.
just.
You kind of just put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I didn't-
What did
I didn't mean
you?
to. All right. Can I take it back?
It's too late.
Oh,
no,
Space
it's done.
Forces. Space
You've
Forces?
already done it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
All right, so I know how to get around that. Here's the answer: you get 30 boss checkpoints 1 week after you've already ran it. You just bang it out like 37 times, and then after you have 37 clears, then you go through the 3 times, and then on your third clear that week, you're done.
There we go. That's the quick way.
yes.
That's the speedrun strat.
Mm.
When are you going to do a 100 Eyes of Tomorrow carry, Dan?
As soon as you get it.
Okay, so I
Cool.
can't take 38 of those runs.
Nice.
Oh, rest in peace.
It starts tomorrow. Let's go.
Right. All right. So before we move on, overall thoughts on the raid? I think it's a great experience. I like it. I would give it thumbs up. Very much looking forward to doing it again.
Yes. I know you have a pot roast to get back to, or like the slow cooker to get to. But
Yes, sir. I smell it. It smells good too.
I'm sure it does. Oh my god. So I want to talk briefly about the post raid world of Europa.
Yes.
Cool
stuff, man.
Yeah. How's everybody feeling? Are you overwhelmed yet with activity? What's going on?
There was a
I
lot to
definitely-
do.
Yeah, there's I am a little bit overwhelmed because I also just kind of took a little bit of break after day one. So I'm just getting in like an hour or two a day, and it doesn't feel like enough, which is it's such a great problem to have in Destiny. But yeah, there's so many things. I'm really fixated on getting the Splinter title, and I'm learning more about that. With like you have to find this random vandal and then go do 10 other things 8 times, and I think I really like where it's at right now.
Yeah.
I haven't done any seasonal stuff like at all.
So you
I
haven't
think I
played
ran
Monster
like
Hunter.
I think I did like one hunt, and then I was like, awesome, back to grinding levels, and then I never went back. So there's a lot of stuff to do on Europa, and it's a pretty world. So I find myself I'll spend like 4 hours just wandering. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. And so it is like Mech said, it's a nice feeling to have because Please bring back Venus, Bungie.
Yeah.
Please, it has to happen now. We just got huge expansions in the lore to the Bray Exoscience area and Clovis Bray and all that kind of stuff. You gotta bring back the Ishtar Academy. I gotta see what's gonna be going on there on Venus now. Now that we know so much about Exos and everything that happened with Clovis and how much of a bastard that dude is, I have to see the rest of what happened with the Ishtar Academy. When it comes to post-raid stuff, I think Bungie's handled this really, really well. There's a lot of stuff to do in the game now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff to do. I think most of it's good. Some of it's a little annoying. I think having to do the aspect and fragment quest for stranger
every character
3 times is asking a little much. They probably could have streamlined that. And the lockout.
Yeah.
That's a little much. That grates on me a bit. The sabotage missions from Varix, I started to be a little bit annoyed with until I realized that you can just grab a ton of them and then get them all done simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
I had when the raid was completed and the rest of the quest to get the rest of the sabotage missions went live. Once I finished that quest for Varix, I had all of those sabotage abilities done within like 2 or 3 hours. Just picked them all up and ran off and did all of them. And once you've gotten that done, thankfully that's account wide. That's not a character thing. If I had to do those sabotage buffs per character, I would have quit Destiny 2. It'd be over.
It would have been done on one character, and I would always use that character.
Yeah.
That would have been it.
That'd be it.
I guess I'm a hunter main now.
Yeah. But I think the rest of the post raid content has been great. It unlocked the Lament quest, which is fantastic. I loved going through that and getting the lore there. It's a stupidly overpowered weapon. I like the Eclipse stuff. That changes on a weekly basis and the little activities and stuff that go on through there. So I think the post raid content has been pretty good. There's plenty of things to do. And Z, don't be mad. Don't be too mad at yourself for not doing the Wrathborn hunts.
Yeah, it's just so much to do.
Monster Hunter.
Those are definitely a side story right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely
I
not meant
know,
to be content that you focus on.
I want to know more about Crow, and I hate getting up to the end of the season, realizing I have 2 weeks, and I'm like, I've got a title to earn in 2 weeks. Get somebody get 20,000 kills with a grenade launcher. That kind of
sure,
stuff.
OG, I'm coming, baby.
So that kind of stuff, I'm a little. And Bungie tends to tie things when they're just like, here's a new thing, and then you're like, well, I didn't do that. Damn it! And now you're like spazzing to catch up to the rest of the community while they're already showing off like their Hawk Moon, and you're like, cool, but I didn't do any of that other stuff because I was over here.
Right.
Yep.
So
it's coming.
I'm afraid that's gonna happen. So I'm trying to catch back up.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm focused on getting people raid jacket codes. That's really my. Like after reset happens, I think I'll be able to settle back into my mode of just like, here's the thing, grind it, and then get pulled aside for raids as needed.
Yeah.
So
the 2 things that really stuck out to me, the Exo challenges
those are cool.
Yeah, those are cool. And Clovis Bray's big dumb old head.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I think it's funny how after you take down his international space station, he's like, prove your worth to me. It's like, bro,
I broke all my stuff.
I broke your stuff.
Yeah. I just cracked it in half like a 4-year-old who didn't want to take no for an answer. Oh my.
Pretty much the story of the raid. Yeah.
I hope he's hiding tiny legs. This is Potato Jim.
Oh God. I do find it's interesting that we went to space, crashed a space station, and then beat up the guy that was living on it.
Yeah.
Like poor Tenix was just chilling up in space, bothering nobody, and we just
finally had a house.
Well, we just crashed it, then beat him up for it.
I mean, the guy finally has a house, He finally gets a couch to sit on, but he was gonna blow up all of Europa, so.
To be fair, before Beyond Light,
and that kid,
it wasn't there. It wasn't there to us, anyways.
Yeah.
And that kid's is the story of gentrification.
Oh Oh no.
Oh Lord, then property values are coming.
Europa just got hot on the market.
Oof. Yeah. That's the way it goes.
Tanix has no couch.
No more couch. Gotta go find another one.
Oh,
Oh yeah. What is he gonna come back as next time? Is he gonna be one of those
we
wyverns?
have his head.
Yeah.
You have
Oh,
his
yeah.
head.
Well,
You display it in your house, in your tent
mean-
that is on Europa.
Clovis
Plug
sprays
him into
ahead,
something.
and he's still
Yeah.
kind of alive.
That's true. That is
Yeah, the
very
entire
true.
point the entire point here is Tanix is now unkillable, so it's whatever we plug him into next.
Tanix is just gonna be on an actual shank, just flying
Yeah.
around. God. Oh, that's an image I can't get out of my head now. Oh,
But yeah.
All right, what did we have after that, Dan?
You know what? I mean, we had the hot fix, but the hot fix came in, and we already talked about some of those things, right?
Sunsetting
Yeah.
was the biggest thing there. I
Yeah.
think.
And like they reversed some of that and alleviated it. They're the way that they're changing and how quickly it's happening. I don't know if it speaks to like the new system that they have or like whatever that update was, or just some of the limitations of how the game was before. I don't know, but I'm loving how quickly they're reacting and able
Yeah.
to like push things out for us once they notice that something is wrong right now. I'm really
yeah,
Agreed.
that's my hope with high energy fire and a few other little
Mm-hmm.
quality of life bugs. Like, the more people know about it, then the easier it'll get. But
Yeah.
it's kind of I hope they fix it. And for the few times I give warlocks love, it's awkward and all. That I feel like in PvE, the stasis range nerf on the melee is a bit aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Because
They
I
could
feel like I
undo that
can't hit
now.
anything anymore with that. So I don't know.
No, I think you're
I've
right.
given the feedback. I'm hoping
Yeah.
they tweak it a little better. It was a mess in Crucible before, but now it's like now this does nothing. This went from doing everything to nothing. A little
Yeah.
bit more. A little bit more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think now that they've knocked down the amount of time that you spend frozen in PvP, they could
Yeah.
probably undo the range nerf.
Put
on
the range
shit.
back.
Just
Yeah.
or maybe not back entirely. I think I saw somebody
Halfway in
post,
between.
yeah, like someone said I think it was 28 before, 28 meters,
Mhm.
like pulling
That's
it
long.
back. Like and now it's like at 16 or something. So like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
pushing it to like 21 might be acceptable. I think I saw a cool guy tweet that.
The range
Yeah.
the range is in that awkward spot where the game hates you for trying to use it because you're just punching something in the face and you're like, no, ability, stop it. Just go.
Mhm.
You're trying to jump back to throw it and it just won't come out of your hand because you just keep slapping the crap out of whatever you're fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
rather than doing
and
your
when you
ability.
back up out of that range where you can use it, it just like and just dies. Like, oh, okay. I should have just punched it.
Yeah.
So
It doesn't help that we had the longer range first too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it worked the other way, it would feel completely broken. But we just got so used to being able to just map something with these ice balls, and now it comes up short literally, and it's just it isn't the same. So
yeah,
It's-
if they push out
it's-
to maybe 20, because that's where
Yeah.
Doom Marchers hits, that's fine.
Right.
I think
yeah.
that's fair. Yeah,
That would work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that they let us have it for a couple weeks though. Like, here's just this madness. Everybody gets to use it. You guys can figure it out. We'll address it in a couple weeks here.
Yeah.
Yeah, been really good about that though, especially given the overall state of, they don't have they're working with. They're working from
Right.
home for the most part,
Yeah.
and
It's been impressive.
responsive. Yeah, MG and Cosmo are just constantly like, "What do you guys?"
Yeah. What's
here?"
popped up?
They want to know. They're commenting that stuff. They're giving feedback too. They're terrific at what they're doing. They're two of the mentally probably the strongest human beings I think I've ever seen
Yeah.
on social media.
Yeah.
But the team's been doing great with it, and it sucks because it's pretty obvious some of these bugs we're having, but the game is still playable. It is the most beautiful it's ever been, in my opinion. There's still plenty there to love, and they're still getting that ironed out as we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree.
Um,
Well, all right. Moving on
yeah.
from there. Was there any other news, or does that take us to audience questions?
I think that just takes us to audience questions at this point, and we only
Right
have
on.
2. So, Short and easy. Potato Jim asks, do you guys have any hopes for upcoming raid challenges to offer anything more than a second chest?
I think it see how this RNG turns out for the raid exotic. If that's something where people aren't, their 15th, 20th time, people aren't getting anarchy until their 50th, 60th time before, and they manage to crank that or just adjust that over time. Maybe that's something where they're saying it's a guarantee if you do it for the first time because it's just that difficult. It's I don't know, that's one thing that kind of came to mind. It'd be really interesting to see how they can play that with the spoils. Maybe it's double spoils too, like you mentioned earlier.
That's just too good of a system for them not to lean into, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. The official thoughts. Cosmetics. Yeah.
Yeah. If they make the armor glow different or give us some pretty flaily stuff or whatever, that's fine. Or another emblem. That's fine. I don't want to see anything too game breaking behind hard modes. I never do. It's there's enough intrinsic gamekeeping in the game. I don't think we need to add anymore. So, but people do need to be rewarded for wanting to do more, because we need that top end of the community to be around. We don't want them to get bored.
I think a good way to work that is a lot of the stuff you guys have already mentioned. Add a unique bit of raid ornaments to the to a hard or a challenge mode of the raid that you can get from there. And then in order to keep people playing those harder challenge modes, maybe double drops, extra spoils. If Bungie really, really wants to incentivize people, maybe not a guaranteed drop chance, but a higher drop chance for the raid exotic for completing the final boss on challenge. I think all of that would be pretty good.
Yeah,
that would be fine. It's hard enough to balance this game. I don't imagine that they'd give us anything too insane. A different shader, a different emblem,
right?
Something glowy, maybe. I don't even know. Like, if I was a programmer, then maybe I'd know better. But I just know from what I see is enough people get left behind, so I'd be afraid to see it come out too fast. But I have no problem with it coming out later in the season.
Yeah, same.
Not at all.
Big same.
I think that leads to our next question that came from Gray Fox. With Deepstone Crypt out and some nice changes to the raid formula, are you more excited for Vault of Glass coming back with some possible DSC upgrades? And with that, Jebby asked, do you think with Vault of Glass coming back, we will finally find the missing chests we never found in D1?
Oh, God.
I think it's almost guaranteed.
I hope they do. It's like an Easter egg.
Yeah, there's no way they bring back Vault of Glass and then don't put a seventh chest in there somewhere. There's no way that's not gonna happen.
It's a hologram. You reach out for it and it disappears. You're like,
just not
platform
there.
drops out from
it's
underneath
there, but
you.
it isn't. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Can you imagine how many people would be trying to Swordscape glitch to that thing before it disappeared?
I could see great ways for Bungie to debate people the way they kind of did with the Whisper mission, or when you're going in there to get the catalyst and all that kind of stuff, you do that Oracle challenge that takes you to that Vex gate that shows you the inside of the Vault of Glass. They just reverse that. You get back to the glass throne, you look out there, and you see the seventh chest inside the portal, but you can never get there.
That's so evil. I'm here.
Be a great dick move.
Do it. Do it, Bungie, you cowards.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll have a world's first race? How's that for a question?
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be the same vault.
That
we got before.
No.
I hope not.
Location the same.
I do.
Yes.
Want it. I kind of do want to play the D1 raids with D2 mechanics. That seems like a lot of fun, but yeah, it'd be like a 30-minute clear.
Look at how they changed Omnigul. Look at how they changed that strike. You'll probably see a lot of familiar, but then just with a twist at the end somewhere down the line. We still have an entire Vex world that is after our booty. So it would bear to reason that lore-wise we could see something cook up that way. But yeah, I'm hoping they redo the vault with a few new mechanics. I feel like the way that they did the champions in Deepstone Crypt was actually well done. Like it wasn't too much. It was just like it was the right amount of flavor for that sauce. And like
It wasn't obnoxious.
yeah. It was just, they're in there. You do have to deal with them, and then you move on. So
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
If
think
they
it'll
do
be
it the same, like Invis Hunters are gonna dominate the
Oh yeah.
hide and run part. It'll just be like a 6-stack of smoke throwing Invis Hunters just walking through there.
Through the Gorgon maze, yeah.
Yep. Or a Thunder Crash Titan team. Skip it.
Fly through.
Skip the whole thing. Skip it.
Yeah, I think it'll be the same environment. It'll be the same bones, but completely different muscles and completely different muscles and flesh. It'll be a different beast, almost entirely in the same environment.
Let
but,
us.
very different.
They should let us grenade push Atheon off the platform, but you bait us by throwing a different boss off as soon as we do it. As soon as you do it, a new boss appears that's way harder.
He evolves.
Climbs up.
Atheon's dad.
He's a part of a Voltron.
It's Tanix.
Yeah.
It's Don't ever talk to me or my son ever again.
If you push him off, it's like a white mechanic. It just shows up and dominates your entire team all at once.
Just comes and pushes you off the cliff.
Yes.
That's what it does. You get detained and he comes and literally pushes you off the cliff.
I would love to see something like that. That would be really hysterical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be an entirely different beast. There will be champions. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're probably, if they do the Gorgon maze again, it's probably going to be a completely different path. And hopefully, like, the Gorgons will have some kind of all-new champion ability. Will make them just as terrifying as it was the first time everybody was going through the Gorgon maze.
Or you'll just see
I'm
the
looking forward
peacocks
to it,
walking
though.
around. The ostriches, peacocks, whatever you
God.
want to call them.
Yeah.
Angry
No.
chickens.
Yeah.
Chickens.
That's why everybody was getting chicken coat
Oh,
errors. There's the
no.
wyverns getting in there.
I'm not looking forward to the chickens being in glass. Oh, Lord. That's going to be bad.
I like how we're just accepting the chicken.
The chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what
You
they
ever
are.
seen a chicken? We have them all over Tampa. They're
Yeah.
mean.
Dude, we
Yeah, they can
raised
be.
chickens for a long
okay.
time at my house, and
Well,
there
so
was
mean.
one that would not let me leave my car for a good long period of time. He was delicious, by the way.
So you ultimately won that fight.
Oh yeah, that boss battle was easy to overcome.
Yeah. Dan ran in there swinging with
this
ran in there
scarred up,
with the
angry
sword.
chicken just staring at you every day, and then one day, oh my god, Dan!
Tells Ginny just stay in the car, honey. I got this. And
Look,
pulls
I
the
got
baton out of
this.
the back seat, just runs up and starts spinning it.
I grew up on a farm. I got a lot of stories. Anyways.
Chickens are mean.
Stinky little buggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last question of the night comes from Butt Coffee 9. He asks, do you guys think that we will see any sort of secret mission this season similar to the Outbreak or Whisper?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I hope so. We're about
Oh,
due
yeah.
for one.
they took 2 away. Like, there's got to be one.
So
I mean,
Hawk Moon
Wait.
is
Yep.
a thing that exists in the game. We don't know what it comes from yet, right? We don't know the activity.
No,
No.
has not been put
No.
into the game files yet.
So
there's a lot
Pretty sure
of
it's going to be dawning, though.
yeah.
API stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of hidden API stuff that's lined up around the dawning.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's going to drop with dawning.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think with the content that they have right now, that's something because it feels like they dropped those previous ones when it was a little bit of a lull. So I'm in the mindset that they won't be doing that this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be later on when it is a little bit quieter. With that being said, I hope I'm wrong because I think that 0 Hour and Whisper are 2 of the coolest things they've ever done.
Yeah.
So it'd be
Yeah.
stated, and I think they have the canvas for it now. How much is expanding on Europa even week to week?
Yeah.
But it just is. I mean, that's just one planet too. There's obviously we don't know what's going on in the Dreaming City. We're going back to the Tangled Shore more and more. But I think from the marketing point of view, they're going to try to wait to do that when they need to introduce a little more of a pulse back into the
Mhm.
game.
Right. And those missions are always great because they always drop with no fanfare. They
Yeah.
always drop without Bungie saying a word. Like, I can still remember clear as day the weekend where one random person made a subreddit post on the Destiny the Game subreddit, like, hey, I was playing around on IO and I found this weird boss that spawned in the middle of a public event.
I think that was
Like,
Farmark,
does this...
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, does this do anything? Killed him and like it opened a portal. Wait, what? And then it was the same thing with 0 Hour, where people just realizing, you could scan that door and go in there and start getting the coordinates and all that kind of stuff. I love when Bungie does that, and I
So
can't
cool.
wait for them to do it again.
Yeah.
So, building off of that real quick, it's been raid exotics the last, like old school D1 raid exotics that have dropped the last time they did that. They did this kind of thing. What comes next? What would the hidden exotic be this time?
No land.
No land. Okay.
Come on.
Interesting. I dig it. I dig it.
I would like
I'd
to
like
see
to see
something
no
new, like
Yeah.
just something we hadn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've recovered enough. I feel.
I'm happy with the new we got though. Like
Yeah, we do-
Duality's a cool shotgun, Cloud
Duality's
Strike's cool, Lament's an awesome gun. The Salvation
Mhm.
Script that nobody uses is kind of interesting, so I wouldn't mind seeing a
Yeah.
Yeah.
an icebreaker, no land, or some just
Oof,
weird super
icebreaker.
hype weapon come back.
Be
Yeah.
The icebreaker wouldn't be a
mean-
problem because the way the ammo economy in D1 worked is you had to get a chest to get ammo. So
Mhm.
regenning ammo and not having to touch a chest was a big thing. Whereas now everything ammo drops from everywhere.
Mhm.
Everybody you kill drops ammo, so it doesn't really matter about that regen. So I don't think icebreaker will be as bad as people think. But no
I don't
land
think it'd
was
be
so
bad
much
at all.
fun.
Yeah.
I want no land back. I sucked with no land. I was absolute trash with no land, but I want to use it on a mouse and keyboard.
Right.
That's it. That's it.
Punch out. I like it.
I just a hot take here. If they decided to drop one of those things in there right around when Fog does come back, like very easy could end up being Mythic class.
Yeah.
Just, probably not, but if we're going to be doing it, like you said, there's been a theme of it. I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them that they
Yeah.
make the
Yeah.
chase for it.
Because it's usually raid exotics. So
Mhm.
Yeah. Zen Meteor is another good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's a
interesting
fun
gun.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities there, and there's still certainly a lot of exotics that Bungie could bring back to play around with the missions like that. And if it is something new, well, their recent track record of new exotics have been fantastic. Necrotic Grip, those things are great. Cloud
Mhm.
Strike is a fantastic weapon. Duality's really, really good. Ruinous Effigy is still one of my favorite exotics of
Yep.
all time in
Mhm.
terms of its uniqueness and its versatility everywhere in the game. So whenever it does happen, I'm looking forward to it because those are some of my favorite moments in Destiny.
Mhm.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Well, all right. Was that it for the last question, Dan?
That's all the questions fit to print.
All the questions fit to print. Well, with that, I do believe that brings us to the end of episode 262 of the Planet Destiny podcast. The one about the Deep Stone Crypt. This has been a lot of fun. Very special thanks to our guests, Z, Max. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. It was great to have you guys here. You guys, of course, being big parts of the Twitch presence here for Planet Destiny. And, of course, you are invited onto this show literally whenever. You guys are great. Real entertaining dudes. Before we get on out of here, we do like to let the audience know where they can find you guys across the internet. So I guess starting with you, Max, let them know where they can find you. What you got coming up, man?
Yeah, so I stream on Planet Destiny Monday nights from 5 to 8 Central Time. Otherwise, you can find me on my own channel. That's twitch.tv, Mexplosion_. I'm also very active on Twitter. Same thing, Mexplosion. And pretty active in various Discords too, the Dojo Discord, my own Discord. Just if you see me in the wild, feel free to shoot me a teabag or emote on me, and hopefully we can get some games in sometime.
Duly noted.
I like the teabag thing because I actually met somebody because they trashed us in Crucible and they're a really cool person. But it's exclamation Zara. You don't even know. God, you
Look,
make me sad.
I'm sorry. I'm working on it.
Clap.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitch TV Zeralius. I stream here and there, mostly for charity, like I said earlier. And then here on Planet Destiny, Tuesdays 4 to 7, I do reset stuff. I do whatever. I'm not really locked into any one particular thing. I play PvP, PvE. I bang my head into a wall for 6 straight hours trying to figure out something stupid in a raid. But yeah, if you need to find me, Twitter's usually the way. So
Excellent.
Right on, right on. Go get that fresh raid carry. Remember, 4 nukes at once. Optimal strategy.
4 nukes at once.
Engrave it in your
I like
brain.
Get a
It's the
tattoo of it
100%.
above your navel.
Above the
gonna-
navel.
Just
Oh my.
above the navel. It's just circling 4 nukes at once.
Like the opposite of a tramp stamp. What do we call
Yes.
that?
You put it like on your hand so that when you look at your mouse, you see it.
Yeah. 4
There you
nukes.
go. Every time you look down. Remember, 4 nukes. Right on. What about you, Dan?
Hi, my name's Danfinity. We do PV things on my channel. You can find that twitch.tv/Danfinity. I'm there 3 days a week. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Danfinity, where the eyes are L's. Also, show note. I didn't do it up at the top. We will be changing podcast providers possibly in the next week. So if your RSS feed is borked, let us know immediately.
Yeah.
Because we'll need to figure that out. So, that being said, that is all for me.
Right on, right on. Big, exciting things there. It's always fun changing providers and platforms.
It happened last year that the feed
Yeah.
got messed up for several people, and we didn't hear anything about it for like
Yep.
a month and a half, and we like, guys, you gotta let us know.
Not like we get an alert when these things happen.
How can I help you if you don't help you? How?
So looking forward to all of that.
No bugs here.
This is the way. As for me, of course, my name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. This week's streams are going to be Monday to Friday, starting at around 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Probably going to be more Destiny 2 stuff as we wind on into the next week of content there with Wrathborn hunts and all that kind of stuff. I still got to get caught up on my hunter, so it's probably going to be the focus of most of what I'm doing. Hopefully we'll get some raid runs in there as well. And of course, the news videos will be going up on the Planet Destiny YouTube channel at youtube.com/Planet Destiny. Hope to see you guys there. But all right, everybody, that is it for episode 262 of the Planet Destiny podcast, your guide to This Week in Destiny. Hope you all enjoyed. We'll catch you all next week. Bye, everybody.